All right. Right. Survived another purge. All right, you bastards. I will take this off first. Yeah, this is Some-Belgian-prepper, and today I'm going to talk about how to survive the purge. And yeah, before we do that, if you're interested in crime stories, this is a first part of 11-part series that I wrote. It's called Bloody Crosses. It's in Dutch. If you're interested, look down in the description. So, the Purge night. Well, I've been watching some of the Purge movies, and it got to make me think. And yeah, I've seen a lot of people making comments about it and talked about with some friends, colleagues about the movie. And yeah, kind of stupid idea. But to be honest, it's something that could happen in certain situations, like during a civil war, during how do you say this? A genocide or a political or religion persecution kind of situations which happened, like example Rwanda and such. So a purge like situation is not really that unthinkable to say. And if we think, the purge is actually based on something that happened in the past, and that was actually a sort of in the time of the Romans, the Roman Empire, there was this celebration festival called the Saturnus festivals. And what would happen on those 7 days that the party went on? The patrols of guardsmen and army would cease for those 7 days, so they could celebrate, and the halls of justice. So speaking out, justice and judges were also not available in that time period. So in a way, people took time of this moment to do things that they normally would not do, like they could not curse at each other or calling somebody a name, calling names, or somebody they don't like, or to pull pranks on each other, perhaps some even violence. And because of the absence of guards and the justice system, yeah, some people took advantage of that situation to do murder. And yeah, that system was actually in place with two things. It's kind of a bread and play for the masses, so they can look forward to and they can have a little good time. So they would purge themselves a little bit so they can work for the rest of the year. And another thing was, it was a sort of look from the people who ruled at the time, to say to the rich people and the influence people and the politicians and so on the lower tables, to say, look, or people who had property, it was a sign to say, look, if we are not in charge, that is what the common people would do all the time. So so put us in charge, and this will not happen for the rest of the year. It was that sort of reminder that a system was a little bit in place. I would say look it up. It's very interesting, that sort of history. But not again. We are here to learn how to survive the purge. All right. As you can see, I'm a little bit decked out, and yeah, that's just to show you what I personally would do in that sort of situation to survive the purge. But first, the purge, how you're going to survive the purge. I'm going to talk first about the preventive measurements. What are the preventive measurements? First of all, if you live in a country where one time a year crime is legal, and yeah, with crime, especially murder, I would say just emigrate. Just go to another country and live there. If you live in a country where the rulers say, oh, one time a year the plebs can kill each other, yeah, do you really want to live in such a immoral and country where, yeah, we all saw the movies, and we all saw that it was especially the rich, the corporations and the people who had money that would benefit from this kind of system, and the psychopaths. So yeah, imagine if you have a country where normal people would be purged out, and the psychopaths would live because they are the one who kills everybody, and that system would continue. You will only be left with corrupt, psychopathic, sociopathic, and violent people that's not really a system you want to live in. So my first advice is emigrate. I don't care to what country. Anything is better than a country where this could happen. Um, Next thing is don't make enemies. Yeah, we all met this person who like to get into an argument. People who like to throw the first punch. We all met those people. I would say try to make friends and yeah, try to be nice to each other, and then you have less chance that somebody on the purge night would be looking you up, or your family and friends members to get to you, because it's not only you. If they cannot get you, they will get the next person you love for that situation. So yeah, that's kind of a thing. Be nice to people, but also don't be too naive or too friendly. Don't make yourself to a target. If you're that's this sweet little girl or this hippie everybody love of kind of hippie person, yeah, you're also a target, because these crazy psychopathic people, they like to torture and to hurt people who are like that, because yeah, it's it's an easy target, and that's what these kind of assholes go for. Next thing is, if you cannot move to another country, or there is a reason you have to stay, I would say form a community. And this is what I mean again with the try to be nice to other people. Try to form a community, try to befriend, and try to work together as a community. Try to make your neighborhood into a sort of fortress. Yeah, you cannot just. What I would say as a fortress, I would say barricade the streets so no big cars or trucks can just ride into your neighborhood. So they are forced to get out, and then set up post with I would say the most effective thing would be with snipers. Everybody has a fixed position. Everybody has a certain window to look at, and that way you can create crossfires, and that way you can create a perimeter with less people around your community for everyone who is not supposed to be there. A burst night, everyone is a target. Set up kill zones. Is like, if you look up maps about fortifications and defensive tactics, you will know what I mean by crossing fires, so that everybody has a certain corner, and there is a wall of kill zones around your neighborhood where purgers will not get through, or they will get enough damage so they will not go further, because these kind of people, they look for easy targets. Yeah, so that's something that you can do, and do this with people you trust. Like I said, form a community, and this will be bonded much more if something like a purge would really happen. All right. Next thing, get prepared. What do I mean by that? I would, in the first place, I would not say build a fortress, because the more you try to the more you try to look like a fortress, the more people will think he has got good shit. I want what he wants. Try to make a low profile. Try to make your house look boring as shit. Make it look poor. Don't park your fancy car in front. Don't post things on social media so people know that you have money or certain items or whatever that they can use after the day of the purge. Try to look boring and poor. That is something that could help minimize that you become a target. And that said, I would say try to make a panic room. Not a fortification, because a fortification, if you have a family with your wife and perhaps your children, your children is a moral liability. I would say just get a certain small space that they would not look into. A hidden camouflaged shelter or fallout shelter in the back garden, because the people would go into the house looking for victims, and you're in a camouflaged shelter beneath the lawn. So yeah, that's something they would take more effort to get into. And next thing is a panic room. A small room dedicated, camouflaged inside of the house, that you can stay the purge, that you can survive the purge in, even if people break into the side of your home. Yeah, not everyone has explosive chainsaws, so that's minimizing the risk. Excuse me, my nose. All right. So try to make a low profile, and most people will not be able to afford too big of fortification. So try to make it as simple as possible. Try to learn something like it might some people will try to say that it's not right to say this, but take an example of Anne Frank. Anne Frank lived on an attic behind a bookshelf for years before the Nazis found her because somebody rat on her. So yeah, something similar you can do against purgers who are just looking for an easy target, and they will not look too much to that bookcase that you got over there unless somebody tells you. So that's another thing. Keep your OPSEC. Yeah, don't tell what your plans are for the purge. Don't tell where you're going. Don't tell anybody what you're going to do. You can even say you give them disinformation. Say before the purge, I'm going on a holiday to France, and that way people who are looking to purge you specifically, they will say, "Ah, fuck, he's in France. We cannot find him at home." So that's something that you can do. All right. Next thing, get prepared by buying guns. Uh, Even if it's a pistol, a small pistol or something, or a gun, get some sort of self-defense weapon, something that you can take somebody out from a distance or to defend you. Some people will not be able to do that. Like we saw in the movie, a lot of these people have only machetes or something. I don't know why they would even purge that. That's just really silly. And get a gun, practice with it, because that's very important. A lot of in the movies you see a lot of people who just fire from the hip automatically without aiming, and then suddenly they got no ammo and they can get slashed. That's just really stupid. Get training, get to know your weapon, learn how to shoot it in different kind of light, or in light sources, positions, or in situations. So try to learn for that. Try to learn stress shooting rapidly. Those things you can do, and get body armor. As you can see, I have here body armor, and this is the body armor I would wear if I would be in a stationary defensive position. If I would be on the run or somewhere where I need to move fast, I would use my light body armor. But this is more for the stationary defense. Why? Because this is full Kevlar, and it has metal plate flap here on the back to protect my little inheritance. It has metal plates against big kind of calibers, and it has also protection against the neck. This can be used against spalling. If you get hit by a bullet, the metal can spatter open, and it can hit your face and your throat, and it can cut with the little pieces of flying metal and splinters your blood vessels. So that's why this piece of the body armor is essentially to protect your arteries here. But it can also be extra protection against slashing, against stabbings from knives. So that is a little bit of a neck protection in case you get overwhelmed with these crazy groups with their machetes and knives. I still don't know why would you go out in a place where other people looking to kill you with guns and you have a machete? What do you think that will... Sorry, that is just something that I cannot get my head over it. Alright, so yeah, practice with your guns. Get in shape, also very important. There is no use to try to be a Rambo if you cannot even run 5 meters without being exhausted. So try to get healthy, and that is not only to your fitness, but that is also to your general health. If you don't do anything bad habits like smoking, heavy drinking, drugs, that will be all a liability on the purge night. You do not want to be going on a rehab, or getting your nicotine fixed, or you crave for alcohol and get drunk on the purge night. You do not want that. Don't be dependent on such substances. So that's a very good tip. Stay healthy. That will be very important during the purge night. I think I never saw a person in a wheelchair in those movies, so perhaps those people are already purged out. but whatever. So, and the last preventive measurement you can take is don't vote for parties or political parties that would be capable of doing such stuff. I'm talking about extreme right fascist kind of groups. Don't vote for those, because yeah, those kind of people are most likely to start such shit. Survival of the fittest, they will call it, or they will wrap it in sort of a blanket that they can justify their to release their inner beast or purge themselves or whatever they say in those movies. All right, all right. So if I was in a country with a purge night, what would I do? I seem to have a little bit of a sniffles. So the first thing that I would do is, this is me personally. I don't know about what other people would do, but this is the thing that I would do and find the best tactic to use to on a purge night, and that is just go in the middle of nowhere in a forest. Why? Most crazies, psychopaths, and city folk, they would just purge and stay in the cities, or if they are going to move out of the city for survive the purge night, they would go more to the towns. So they would look for places where other people are to purge. So if you're going to the middle of nowhere, what kind of a purger would go miles, dozens of miles into the woods just to look for a victim that might be or not be there? So keep your OPSEC. Don't say where you're going, so that one really determined purger will not search for you specific, and just go as far as you can in the middle of nowhere in the forest. You will perhaps be a little bit more bothered by bears, but a bear is easier to take on than a bunch of purgers. So yeah, that's the thing that I would do. Get into the forest in the middle of nowhere, and yeah, just try to survive. Next thing, if you're going to the middle of nowhere and try to sit out the purge, make a low profile. Keep your OPSEC. Don't tell people where you are, where you're going. Don't give them something to track you. So don't leave behind trails. Your cars, camouflage those. So that's another thing. Use camouflage. I would advise get a ghillie suit. To even people with night vision will see you harder if you wear a ghillie suit. So for the next 12 hours, try to wear a ghillie suit in the middle of nowhere in the forest, and you will survive the purge. Uh, Next thing is, don't bring attention to you. Don't start a fire. Don't make a party or make lights or a campfire that would make light and smoke and would draw everyone to you. So yeah, keep low, keep silent, and keep out of sight. That's the best thing you can do. All right. So these were the things that I would mostly do. Next thing, don't be a hero. We also in those movies of the purge, something happens and the heroes try to save them, but they do this oftentimes and they always get so lucky. So they would already be dead most of the times. 9 of 10 times you try to pull off shit like that, you'll be dead. You'll be overwhelmed. Will be sniped by some punk from that would peek around the corner with some small caliber pistol. You will be. It's not worth it. Don't be a hero. Try to save you, your friends, your family, your children, whatever. Don't be a hero. Don't let anyone in. Don't try to help anyone. Because there is another thing that happens in the purge, and that is these ambushes. Somebody pretends to be wounded or just a victim, and when you try to help them, they will catch you and they will start to torture you. So that's something that you do not want to risk, even if you're the most high-standing moral person there would be. Uh, Next thing, uh, don't shoot. Yeah, I know I said earlier, shoot on everything that you see, but if you're going to the middle of nowhere in a forest and you see somebody, don't shoot, I would say. Try to stay low, because if you shoot, there might be another person around or a group that were hunting or something. And if they are in the woods, they're probably woodsmen, probably hunters, and they know what they will do to hunt you down. So just let it go. You do not have to shoot everyone. Just stay low profile. Don't, like I said, keep your OPSEC. Don't let anyone know that you're there. Just try to be like Rambo, full on mud, or was it Arnold Schwarzenegger, full on mud, and just stay against the mud wall, and nobody will find you. Yeah, mud is really bad at you. It gets really cold very quickly and very wet, and that's not really good in a very cold situation. Now that I think of it, the most of the purges are not in really winter period, which makes kind of sense because most riots happens in the summer. So yeah, that's something to think about actually. So right, those are the things that I would do, and now I will now talk about the gear that you probably would need during such a purge night. Purge night. First of all, get good running shoes. Yeah, so you can run away from if there is really danger. So don't try to wear Crocs or sandals or something like that. That will be no option. Don't try to wear clothing that is bright. Try to wear clothing that is dark, green, black, or gray. Something that will not be immediately be seen from far away. Just like I said, keep your OPSEC, be camouflaged. Don't be like those purgers who wear fancy light neon wearing kind of masks and paint. And why I still don't get it. Why would they do that? They are a light up target with machetes against people, murderous people with guns. Why would what? No, I will not get carried away by this. All right, so yeah, dark clothing and also clothing that is a little bit weather resistant. What do I mean by that? If you're going in the middle of nowhere in the forest, try to get something that keep you dry, like a jacket, a woolen sweater beneath it, so you can stay warm even if you have to lay on the forest ground for how many hours is it? 12 hours for the purge. So it's something that you can survive the elements is the basic. That's why I also would prefer this kind of hat, this balaclava. And the next thing is if it gets really cold, you can still do it like this, and your face is also warm. So yeah, that's just to keep your face warm in a very cold forest area, perhaps, or in the elements. And another thing is, if you happen to kill someone even if it's out of self-defense, and you wear a mask, then they will not recognize you and look you for the next purge. Because if you kill somebody, even if that person is a complete crazy idiot, he's still got friends, he's still got family that will try to take revenge on you the next purge. So yeah, that's kind of something to watch out for. So never hope that you will have to kill somebody. Even in self-defense, there is a chance that their friends will come to look for you. Next thing is body armor. Like I said before, in the wilderness, I would probably wear something very light so I can sneak and crawl and be mobile with my light body armor. But for a stationary thing, I would have put on this. So yeah, that's I can take with this multiple hits and probably come off with it with not that severe wounds. Next thing is like I said before, you will probably have some problems with areas. So for 12 hours you might get thirsty after running a lot, so get some water. So yeah, that could be also handy to clean off perhaps blood or wounds, perhaps, or perhaps if you have burning wounds, or if you get a little bit too hot and you can spray it onto you, but mainly to stay hydrated. If you are in a very warm situation for more than 12 hours, that's a really hot situation, I would mean, then you will probably need water. So yeah, that's something that you need. Next thing is just the basics. Just a multi-tool for small tasks, for perhaps a knife for your as a last protection, as a last kind of self-defense. And yeah, that's something that you probably could need. Could be very handy if you are wounded. You need to cut open your clothing so you can put a bandage on it. That's something that could happen. Talking about bandage, first of all, this is a small tourniquet. If you got bleeding to one of your limbs, you can put a tourniquet on it. Will stop the bleeding. For 12 hours, you could keep on a tourniquet in case of severe bleeding till you get help after the purge is done. But yeah, something that you could need. So at TSC tourniquet or a small thing like this. And of course, don't go on a purge night without Israeli bandages. This is something between a tourniquet and a pressure bandages. So if you have a bandage, you can do it around the wound. You can pull it and make it stuck, and that will put immense pressure onto the wound, and it will probably stop most of the bleedings, even perhaps artery bleedings, but that's something that is more that you will need more with a tourniquet. Another thing is, if you have a group, get a little phone to stay in contact with. I would not say a cell phone, because you do not know if they would burn down a building where the telecommunications infrastructure are, or like cell phone masts or towers. Perhaps those get destroyed, or perhaps they are down because nobody is there to operate those. So get something that you can, and like a small radio that you can have direct contact with some people of your group. And don't, like I said before, keep your upsec. Don't say, I'm in the green tower. So yeah, that's the purchase who are listening to it. They will not know that you are in the green tower. All right. Yeah, just a small basic. My little bug out bag. I would say something very small that you can, in a moment, just cut loose in case you have to run really fast away. But yeah, just some small gear to get through the next 12 hours with medical supplies, perhaps some batteries, some water, a little snacks to keep your blood sugar level a little bit high, so you're more alert, caffeine pills to keep you wake up for the night, those kind of things, some flashlights, just some small things to survive the day. Next thing is, I would advise, I see some people would say that they would wear night goggles, but in my opinion, in a forest, that would be more something handy for a sentry, somebody who keep watch in a more open area at night, and that way you can keep a little bit, you can have guards around the perimeter, and in case, yeah, you spot some purgers into the woods. So that could be handy, but yet again, it's very cumbersome. Train with this, and learn how to use it and how to operate running, jumping, self-defense with this, because yeah, it's not that easy as most people would think, because this can wiggle around. There could be some technical malfunctions that you need to repair in the field, and yeah, there is the thing, if you use one of these that are with you can have, I would advise to get a night vision with a monocle eye, because these are two eyes. So the moment I put this up in the middle of the night, I'm kind of night blind. So that will take around 30 minutes before my eyes are adapted to the dark, and that could be very not beneficial for me. So I would say, if you get a night vision, get one of those night visions with one. So that way, if you open it, if you don't need this one, you still have one eye that is still adapted to the dark, and that will increase your chance for self-defense and walking through the night and evade purgers. I would mostly advise to get one of these small headlights. That way you have your hands free for defending yourself with your firearms or with your hands, and you can still look at the enemy, and you have your hands free for climbing, running, crawling, or whatever you want to do without having to sacrifice one hand to holding a flashlight. And that way you can keep your eyes on the enemy and shine in his eyes, especially if it's one of those idiots with a machete, and you can blind them a little bit, and you can anticipate what they're going to do with your hands while they're a little bit blind. But why would you use machetes? I still don't understand. Whatever. I will not question this. For guns, I would say get something simple. Whatever you can afford. I would advise I would lean more to a revolver, because yeah, those are, if you're absolutely about self-defense, a revolver is more accurate, less chance that it will have a malfunction. I know it has only 6 rounds, but it will be more of a man stopper. If you have a semi-automatic pistol, it will take more rounds to take somebody down. If you have a revolver with a bigger which usually has a bigger caliber, you have more chance that with one shot you will stop a person in their tracks. Yeah, that's my own preference. I reckon that there are a lot of people who say no, Beretta M9 has 15 bullets. yeah, everyone his own preference. I'm more about reliance, so I found a revolver more cheaply and more handy and more reliable, that it will not malfunction when I really need it. So what you also can do is get a big gun, get something an assault rifle or a gun or a rifle or something that you can take down a percher from a long distance before they can hit you. Oh, especially if they are only armed with submachine guns, pistols, or machete. Why a machete? Why I don't? Would you come to me with a machete if I would have one of these things? No, you would be complete idiot. Never mind. And also put a light onto your gun or have a shotgun. Doesn't matter. Have a gun. I would say during a purge. Even a sheep gun could save your life, and learn to train with it. All right. I think I'm done. So yeah, this was my take on how to survive the purge. And one last tip. There's actually one more last tip I would say on a purge. Don't get drunk. Drink a beer after the purge, and not while you still have to drive a car. So yeah, a purge. It's kind of a intriguing movie, but it's also silly because yeah, most people would not react like that. But unfortunately, there are people who would do such things. So if you're ever in a purge, follow this advice. And the best thing is just move to another country. So I would say thank you for watching. Like this video. If you have any other things that I've forgotten to on how to survive a purge, if you have any other ideas that a regular person like me would be able to do without spending thousands of dollars or euros on some high tech equipment, perhaps something small like a drone for surveillance could be something that you can still use. But yeah, we're talking about the average people around here. Yeah, not the average people will not have something like this. But yeah, this is, if I can afford it, somebody else will be able to afford it if they put their family together, because family goes first, and you will do everything what you want if you want to protect them. Cut on smoking if you really want to protect your family that way, and not only from secondhand smoking, by the way. I'm just kind of, yeah, I just watched this movie and I had to make a video about it because it kind of annoyed me why these people keep walking around with machetes in the open street with flashy masks for petty things like the shopping guy who well, how do I say this, who caught this girl stealing candy, and the girl is mad at him. Why? Sorry, this is my movie review, kinda anger rants, I guess. So thank you for watching. See you in the next video. So cheers.